I mean, look at those tree trunk legs, man. Like, that's amazing. You know what I'm gonna do though, guys? Because I think a lot of guys, myself included, get into fitness to enhance their options with women, right? You want to get some tail. And if that's the case, man, what's up, guys? Welcome back. This is Jason, Actualization. And in this video today, I'm just gonna be sharing some of my thoughts regarding the tragic sudden passing of Joe Lindner. So I'm just gonna preface the evolution of this talk by saying I was not well acquainted, certainly not familiarized with this man's work prior to hearing about the headline here. So please just bear that in mind as I share some of my thoughts, which quite frankly are going to be more related to the fact that I feel this is a microcosm of a much larger scale issue within the fitness industry. And I'm going to be trying to zero in a little bit more on that. So I've got my Chrome browser pulled up now, and I'm just going to pull up the article that I had read this morning regarding Joe Lindner. I like the last name. It's got to be German, right? Joesthetics, that's the other name that he goes by. So I'm going to try and find the article that I had read this morning. I believe it was the Daily Mail. Let me type that in. YouTube bodybuilding star Joesthetics dies aged 30 of aneurysm after saying he feared overtraining would give him a heart attack due to his rare muscular condition. A heartbroken partner pays tribute. This is a German influencer. Yeah, I took a little bit of German in middle school and high school. Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch. Seems like a nice guy. So I will say I did check out a couple of his videos once I had heard about this tragic passing. Apparently he has, 8 million Instagram followers. Wow. So I will say, and not that this matters, a little bit petty in the grand scheme of things in terms of the big picture here, but in terms of his personality, I love this guy. You know, it seems like a really down-to-earth, kind-hearted, larger-than-life individual. And it's really sad that a lot of these fitness influencers, what happens, it's like they are larger than life. And it's like the candle that burns twice as bright only burns for half as long. And if nothing else, that's going to be the main message of this video today, is to keep in mind that anabolic, androgenic steroids, PEDs, performance enhancing drugs, these are going to elevate the genetic ceiling, the conceivable physique with which you can attain. But there's no free lunch, guys, and you have to pay the piper eventually. Some people pay it at 42 years old, Rich Piana. Some people pay it at 22 years old, Ziz, another larger than life character. Amazing, like I love these guys. Some people pay the piper at age 30. Case in point, Joe Lindner. And all of these people ultimately expired before they really needed to. But this isn't a moral judgment. Like, if you want to take PEDs and it's really that important to you, I actually follow a very libertarian philosophy. To be honest with you, I feel that all drugs, no matter how obnoxious that may seem on the surface, should be legal. And what someone does to and with their own body is, quite frankly, none of my business, as long as it's not directly influencing me. You know, I'm not the arbiter for that. At the end of the day, everyone has to look at themselves in the mirror and arbitrate for themselves. Ask themselves, what am I willing to give to get something? And what you're giving up is longevity when you take performance enhancing drugs, because you're operating at the extreme of human physiology and you're operating in a fashion that the human framework was not built to last in light of. So it's a really sad story, guys. His heartbroken girlfriend here, Nietzsche, opening up on social media, said that he died in his room. I guess this is sounds like a necklace he had made for her. And so apparently she said he had been cuddling her after he had just dressed her in this necklace he had made her. God, 30 years old, guys. And that's another thing you're gonna notice about these sorts of individuals. Boston Lloyd would be a really good example of that, maybe the epitome of someone who I believe was 29. So that's my age, just for reference. I'm turning 30 later this year. You just see how greatly that potentiates biological aging, and it's just something that you hate to see. But again, this is not a moral judgment. Love this guy's character, larger than life. But for people who are influenced by these fitness influencers, you just got to know what you're signing up for here. And his death maybe speaks to that conceivable outcome. And you just have to ask yourself, are you willing to cut your life short? Are you willing to truncate your time on this planet to sample the buffet of life? And if it is worth it to you, since you are the only arbiter, you really are the only one who can make that decision. It's just at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, what is actually important to you? What is the bliss that you need to follow? And then follow that. But that decision is contingent on you being aware of what you're giving up. You need to actually be aware of the health consequences so that you can effectively weigh the pros and cons to arrive at an informed decision ultimately. But of course you can see, like, sick physique, right? Super granular, super lean, shredded, just full muscle bellies, incredible physique. I mean, this is something that 99% of guys aren't going to be able to achieve anyway, even with rampant PED use. So that's another thing to keep in mind. This is a very much outlier physique that isn't even possible for the vast majority of men. I mean, hey, look at those tree trunk legs, man. Like, that's amazing. You know what I'm going to do though, guys? Because I think a lot of guys, myself included, get into fitness to enhance their options with women, right? You want to get some tail. And if that's the case, man, I think at some point you have to realize that you really are just impressing other men. Like, granted, I'm impressed by that physique, and it absolutely would garner the respect of myself and myriad men, probably all guys who come into contact with this guy. And that's great. But if you really just want to maximize your sex appeal, I'm going to pull up a picture right now that's frankly a good example of that, where you see this guy here. He's not necessarily turning heads, right? Maybe he's 15% body fat. He could definitely stand to lean out a bit. He's got a pretty good frame. Doesn't have those tree trunk legs, but he's got aesthetic legs and an absolute bombshell by his side, right? Guys, you don't have to become a Joe Lindner, a Boston Lloyd, a Ziz, a Rich Piana. You don't have to have these unbelievable head-turning, ridiculously muscular physiques to not only attract women, but to just feel good about yourself. And I'm not saying that that's like the negative motivation that drives a lot of these people, but realize that if your goal is to just be comfortable in your own skin, you can actually have a physique of any form or flavor. The way you feel about yourself is actually not related to how you actually look. It's how your mind is internally configured. And I'm not saying to not go out and get the best physique that you can. Do that as well. But realize that you're trying to fill a bottomless pit if you're chasing some astronomical physique that is never going to ultimately fulfill you. You're never going to actually find your freedom. You're never going to be fully at ease with yourself. And that's one of the problems with a lot of these fitness influencers, is that mentally they're just not healthy because they still suffer from body dysmorphia, because what they've done is they've outsourced their own self-opinion to others, and they're living on the momentum of other people's expectations. Now, whether or not Joe was pursuing this physique out of inspiration or desperation, he seemed, from what I could tell, very reasonably intact mentally. I'd probably pursued this out of inspiration. Seems like a really awesome dude. But you have to realize that for a lot of fitness influencers, it is coming from this very dark space. And that's probably not a space that you want to reside in. I mean, what a sad story, man. Look at the girl he's leaving behind. He's only age 30, guys. Just starting his 30s. That's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. So the microcosm that this speaks to, the larger picture here, guys, is that fitness and health are often not one and the same. And the pursuit of the ultimate aesthetics is going to come at a price. And you have to pay the piper eventually, guys. So realize that if you do want an extreme physique, insane, eye-popping, head-turning aesthetics, then you are going to have to do things that other people are unwilling to do. Illegal things, steroid use, and that's going to, unfortunately, cause an early expiry for you. But if you just want to look good naked, if you just want to feel good about yourself, be healthy, use weightlifting as a way to optimize your hormones so that you sleep like a rock, wake up in the morning as hard as one, and are actually excited about life while still having a six-pack, impressive set of biceps that by and large the average person is going to be impressed by, like to look like you actually lift. But to also emphasize your own human health, your wholesomeness, your endocrine system, and not pumping yourself full of anabolic hormones that you could have got high on your own supply. Guys, I love you all very much. Thank you so much for checking out today's video today. Drop a comment down below. What do you think about Joe Lindner? What are the lessons that we can disseminate, that we can learn from his tragic passing? All I can say is rest in peace, brother. We love you. You were larger than life. I think you had a really good following of people who you were transparent with, which I think is of utmost importance. And if we learn anything from this, I think it's to see it as an indicator light of what is up ahead for so many young, impressionable minds who should be aware of some of these potential pitfalls of steroid use so that they can course correct, stay on the straight and narrow, and if they choose to, stay natural. Guys, I love you all very much. Thank you so much for checking out this video today. Comment, like, and subscribe for more content like this. And as always, until next time, friends, find your freedom. Take care, guys.
Peace.